Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. So today we have a battle against Bruno, and so yeah, looking at his team, looks to be a very powerful, very strong-looking team. Looking at my team, it is the same one that I have been using the past couple of games here, the Cleaver team. So, what do I want to lead with in this one? That is a good question. I feel like I feel like the Quagsire is actually the right move to lead with here, so we're gonna do that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see how that works out. All right. So it looks like he is going to go ahead and lead with the Gyarados as we led with the Quagsire. So not a very good match for us. He does get the Intimidate to cut our attack here, which does suck. He can't really do a ton to us, but unfortunately we can do even less to him in this situation. So I think our only option here is going to be to go for a switch. And I think what we want to switch into here, I think it's going to have to be the Duraludon. So we're just going to straight up switch into the Duraludon here, and we'll kind of see what he wants to do. Could go a bunch of different directions with this, but we're going to come in with the Duraludon here as he goes for a taunt, interestingly enough. So that's going to go ahead and stop us for going for status moves. So that's kind of not the end of the world for us. We could have played it safe for a Roar, but we can't do that now, so we have to just go for a Thunderbolt basically against this thing, so that's what we're going to do. Hopefully he doesn't Terra into like ground or something. That would be awful, but yeah, he is actually going to go ahead and just straight up switch out here. So what is he going to want to switch into to face this thing? It is going to be the Garchomp, unfortunately. So that thing is in, and we go Thunderbolt, which of course does not affect it, so that kind of sucks. Now, the only good thing about this is we are max HP with an Eviolite, and we're pretty physically bulky as Duraludon for starters, so we should be able to take an attack from this thing. I think we're just going to go for the Draco Meteor to try and get rid of this thing, as he does go for a Swords Dance, predicting the switch on our side, so it's a good thing we didn't switch to give him a free Swords Dance. He gets the Sharp Attack increase. We go Draco Meteor in return, and it is enough to go ahead and one-shot that Garchomp outright, which is incredible, and knock him down to 5 Pokemon. We are going to take the harsh special attack drop as well, and we are going to shake off the taunt as well, which is nice. So that is pretty good for us. We'll see what he wants to do in response to that. But Duraludon definitely coming through for us there, which is nice, as now he's going to come in with the Volcarona. So that's bad news because he could easily start to set up here. However, because we are no longer taunted, we can actually catch him off guard here with a Roar, I think. So that's exactly what we're going to attempt to do, as he does go for the Quiver Dance, as expected, to go ahead and get that special attack, special defense, and speed increase, which would be bad. But we are just going to go ahead and go for the Roar here to phase him out. Making those attack stat boosts useless, obviously. And then he is going to get forced into something. What is it going to be? It is going to be the Gyarados once again. So that thing comes in, and he does get the Intimidate to lower our attack. Doesn't matter because we are a special attacker, but that whole sequence of events did go pretty well for us. But now we are going to have to switch out, I think, here. So I think our best bet is going to be... what do we want to switch into to face the Gyarados here is the question. I feel like he could taunt us, obviously. I don't feel like he goes for a water move. He could go for an Earthquake if he has that. But I think he could just straight up switch out as well. I think we'll go Mesprit. I think that's probably the best case scenario here. So we'll go Mesprit, see what he wants to do here. So there it is. And he does go for a Protect just to scout us, so that's interesting. So he's got on the Gyarados, he has Taunt and Protect, so that is interesting. So I think what we'll do in this situation is we'll just go, since we know he has Taunt, we'll just go straight for a Psychic, try and get some damage on something. He is going to go for a Thunder Wave, so this is a pretty supportive Gyarados set, which is pretty interesting. So he does Thunder Wave to paralyze our Mesprit, and fortunately we don't get fully powered. We go for the Psychic this turn. It is going to do some decent chip damage to that thing, take him down by about a quarter, and yeah, now we have a decision to make on our hands here. How do we want to handle this? I feel like we probably just stay in and try to Psychic again, so that's what we're going to do. Because he could taunt us at any time here if he stays in with the Gyarados, but he actually does go for the switch here, interestingly enough, and he is going to go back to the Volcarona. So that thing is in, and we do go for a Psychic once again on this thing, and does actually do quite a lot of damage to that thing, takes it down by 50%, which is amazing. And yeah, that is pretty awesome for us. So we definitely don't want to play the para game with this thing, obviously, because we could easily get full parried and completely screwed. So we're going to go ahead and just directly switch into our Alolan Muck here. It's probably the best thing. We have to just straight up switch into this thing. So that is what we're going to do. So there it is. And he does go for a Bug Buzz. So that is going to do quite a lot of damage to us, take us down by almost half. Not quite half, though, which is good, as we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So in this situation, I think our best bet here is going to be to just go for a knockoff. So that's exactly what we're going to do here, try to take this thing out. We should be able to survive one more attack from this thing, depending on what it is. From this range, if he wants to go for the attack, as he is going to switch out. So what is he going to want to bring in on the Muck here? It is going to be the Magnezone, predicting the poison move, no doubt. So he comes in with Magnezone, but no, we go for the knockoff instead. Doesn't do a ton of damage to that thing, but it does knock off the Assault Vest, which is pretty handy, as we do get some HP back from the leftovers once again. So that took him down by about a third, which is not terrible damage. But that thing's probably pretty bulky. So now we have a little bit of a choice to make on our hands here. I kind of want to keep Muck healthy, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure how much damage this thing is going to do to us. But at the exact same time, we do have a perfect switch into this thing in the form of the Quagsire. So there's really no reason for us not to just switch into Quagsire here. So that's what we're going to do. Try to save the damage on the Muck for later. And yeah, just going to come right in with the Quagsire here, as he is going to go for the Thunderbolt, so obviously not going to affect us there because we are a ground type. So the ground move is very obvious right now at this point on this thing, so I don't think there's any way he stays in on this matchup. So knowing that, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go for a Liquidation here, as he does in fact switch out. There was no way he was going to stay in on that matchup. And he is going to switch into the Volcarona, interestingly enough. So not sure what he was predicting there, perhaps predicting to survive an Earthquake, but we go for a Liquidation instead, and that is just going to go ahead and take out the Volcarona. But unfortunately, we do get hit with the Flame Body, so that really sucks. That's going to cripple our Quagsire pretty much, but we do take out the Volcarona and knock him down to, I believe, 4 Pokemon at this point. So that's not the worst thing in the world for us, but the only problem is the Quagsire might be pretty useless going forward here, since we are pretty much an offensive Quagsire. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with Mimikyu, which is obviously bad news. We pretty much have no choice but to just stay in here to break this thing's decoy, so we're just going to go for a Liquidation here. It doesn't really matter what we go for, as he goes for the Swords Dance, which is, of course, going to give him that sharp attack increase. We do go for a Liquidation here in return, which is going to go ahead and bust the Disguise, which is exactly what we need. And he is, of course, going to take some HP as we take some damage from the burn. So we're in an interesting situation against this thing, because he could, if he wanted to, continue to Swords Dance, which would obviously be extremely problematic for us. The only problem is if we switch out, we risk getting hit with something else. So I feel like our best plan is just to stay in and continue to hit this thing with Earthquakes for as much damage as we can get. So that is what we're going to do. So he does go for a Drain Punch here, which does a ton of damage to us, probably revealing to him that we're not unaware. He does regain all of his HP there, and then take some damage from the Rocky Helmet and some Life Orb damage as well, as we are going to go for an Earthquake to try and get some chip damage on this thing. Does a respectable amount, despite the fact that we are burned, knocking him a little below half, and then we are going to take more burn damage. So I think the only strategy here is just to keep on clicking Earthquake, so that's what we're going to do. He does go Drain Punch again. We can't survive another one, unfortunately, as it is going to give him some HP back, but he is going to go ahead and take another round of Rocky Helmet damage and Life Orb recoil as well, I believe. But the Quagsire does go down, and we go down to, of course, 5 Pokemon. So it's not the end of the world, though. We do still have answers to this thing. I feel like we have a couple options, but I think the one that we're going to go for here is going to be the Cleaver. We're going to try and give Cleaver its time to shine here. So we're going to go ahead and come in with Cleaver. We're going to try to bait him into thinking we might not be Choice Scarf because Mimikyu does naturally outspeed Cleaver. So we're going to go ahead and try to hit him with a Stone Axe here, hoping we can catch him with the Scarf off guard. So we do catch him, we go Stone Axe, and we go ahead and take the Mimikyu out there, knocking him down to 3 Pokemon, and as well setting the Stealth Rock up on his side of the field. So Cleaver making it happen there, which is pretty nice. The only bad news about this is he may know that we are Choice Scarf at this point, and indeed he does, because he goes ahead and comes in with the Magnezone. So he is going to take some Stealth Rock damage there, but obviously we can't stay in on this matchup because we are in fact Choice Scarf locked into Stone Axe. So we have to switch. We have a couple of options for what to switch into. We did lose our best switch to this thing, being the Quagsire, but I think we can... We have a couple choices here, but I think probably the Duraludon might be the best option here, potentially. Yeah, I think that's our best option, so we are going to go... Yeah, we'll go for the Duraludon here. That is going to be our best option, I think, just because we do resist both this thing's stabs. We are Eviolite max HP, although more bulky on the physical side, of course. So we come in with that. He does go for a Flash Cannon, which is going to do quite a bit of damage to us there, about a third with a critical hit. That was why. But we do take it relatively well. And so now we're not in the best of spots, honestly, because none of the moves we have hit this thing even neutrally. But at the same time, he actually probably doesn't have anything to hit us with either. So this is going to be an interesting situation. I don't really want to go for Draco because I don't want to drop our special attack. So I think the first thing we'll do is just go... I think we want to go for a Thunderbolt here just to try and chip something. So he is actually going to go ahead and bust out his Terra, so that's interesting. What is he going to Terra into with the Magnezone? It is going to be Terra Fire. Okay, that's interesting. So we should have gone Draco Meteor, but going Thunderbolt is actually not terrible either. So we are going to actually outspeed him, go for the Thunderbolt. Does a lot of damage, but not enough to take him out, unfortunately. He does go for the Terra Blast Fire in return, and it's not enough to take us out, fortunately, which is nice, which is going to leave us open to going for another Thunderbolt this turn, which is pretty amazing. And we should, unless it's a speed tie, outspeed him. As we do outspeed him again, go for the Thunderbolt, and it is enough to go ahead and take that Magnezone down, knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon. We do get the crit there. That definitely didn't matter based on the damage output of the first one. But yeah, either way, Duraludon putting in the work there, which is pretty nice. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Gyarados, and he's going to take that Stealth Rock damage, and so that is going to go ahead and trigger his Berry. That is going to be a Citrus Berry to go ahead and give him some HP back. He does get the Intimidate to cut our attack. Again, we are special attacker, so it doesn't matter. I feel like there's no reason not to just go for a Thunderbolt here, so that's exactly what we're going to do. He does go for a Waterfall, though, which doesn't do too much damage to us, as he does not flinch us. That looks like what he was hoping for. We go for the Thunderbolt, and that is going to get rid of that Gyarados, knocking him down to just 1 Pokemon. So Duraludon is absolutely putting in the work in this one, and that is amazing. So his last Pokemon is the Gengar. He comes in with that, takes some Stealth Rock damage, and there's no reason for us not to just go ahead and try to finish him off with a Draco Meteor here, so that's what we're going to do. We probably won't survive an attack from this thing, though, but that's okay. Duraludon did put in the work in this one, so we'll see what he wants to go for here. He's actually just going to go ahead and forfeit, interestingly enough. So yeah, we are going to go ahead and win that one 5-1 against Bruno, technically. I did kind of want to see the end of that, though, because it would have been interesting to see what would have happened there. But yeah, no, he's going to go ahead and forfeit there. I do think there probably really wasn't any way for him to win that one, because obviously we did have pretty much our entire team left at that point. So even if the Duraludon goes down there, which it probably would have, we still have plenty of options in the back to deal with the Gengar. But nonetheless, a 5-1 victory there. Very highly competitive match there against a strong team. So yeah, that was a pretty good one. So that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. Also, this is going to be the last game that I post with this team. As I said, this was going to kind of be like a limited series of battles here with this Cleaver team, as I called it. Worked out pretty well, I would say, for me. It was pretty fun to use. It was cool to use Cleaver to try and give it a shot, make it do some things, and it did okay, I will say, in these games. But as is always the case, I am going to be putting it to the side for now, and next time I'm going to be coming out with a special edition of the Captain's Table once again, where I will talk about future content here on the channel. And as you guys probably all know what that means that it is going to be league time once again. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. That's it, and we'll see you next time.